everyone. Welcome back to Alaska Living the Dream. On today's episode, we're going to talk about a very important thing that is often overlooked, and it's crucial to your fishing trip. And we're talking about how to get your fish home on the airplane still frozen. You spend a lot of money, a lot of time out there getting that fish, and if you fail to get it home frozen, it could all be wasted. So I'm going to go over a few different techniques that people use to get their fish home, whether it's shipping it, and don't always trust the shippers to get it there in 24 hours like they say, or like most people, take it on a plane. So really it comes down to your travel situation. There's some basic tools that I use and 3 different styles that I'll use to transport fish depending on my time frames and what my travel logistics are. So starting out, my preparation, I have a bucket and a scale so I can weigh my fish. So very important, most airlines have a 50-pound bag limit. So you want your box to be right at 48, 49 pounds. The last thing you want is to have your box at 51 pounds and you're sitting there negotiating with the ticket person. And I've been there. They make you untape everything, pull one piece out, tape it back up. Everybody's waiting in line. You don't want to be that guy. Other basics is a Sharpie to write. As you can see on this box, I wrote my information down on that. And then also duct tape. Okay. So moving to the styles that you can transport that work best, we have the wax box, a basic standard cooler, and then the foam styrofoam box. And they all have their pros and cons. First, let's go to the wax box. The best thing about the wax box, it's the cheapest of all options. They're not expensive. And you can fit more fish in there because you're not dealing with the styrofoam or a bulky cooler. Now, the cons are the fish is going to last the least in this one. You got to put a liner in this thing, and these are good if you're traveling in the wintertime from one cold destination to another cold destination. But I don't recommend if you got to travel long distances or when you get to your destination, if you've got to drive a couple hours, a wax box is not your friend. This thing's going to start thawing. So a wax box, it's cheap. You can fit more in there, but it's going to melt, your fish are going to melt the fastest in it. Now, the next option is a standard cooler. Now, a standard cooler will keep your fish cold, especially some of the newer ones. The cons of a standard cooler, though, are if you're taking a 50 pounds quantity, these coolers these days weigh anywhere from 5 to 12 pounds, so you're going to lose some poundage. The other thing is, a bigger cooler like that, you run the risk of getting the oversized fees with the airlines. A small cooler like this works best when you're taking smaller quantities, like maybe 15 to 20 pounds. And the other bonus of taking a cooler is if you're traveling somewhere, once you get rid of the fish, you can use the cooler for the rest of your vacation or your trip or whatever. And like if you're in Hawaii, you can use it at the beach. So that's one of the bonuses of taking a cooler. And a cooler, unlike some of these other boxes, isn't going to get destroyed, which we're going to move to the styrofoam box. So the styrofoam box is probably the most common. The cons of the styrofoam box are they're expensive, and especially in a place like Alaska, the stores really know how to mark these things up. You know, they're up, this box here is going for about 25 bucks, and you're going to pay the tourist prices for them. Also, this styrofoam is pretty fragile, and if you've ever watched the baggage guys at the airlines throw your bags around the tarmac, these things will break and get shattered, and they get destroyed. And once the inside insulation is destroyed, they're pretty much no good. The pros are they're lightweight. You can fit usually your poundage, your quota in there, and the styrofoam does a pretty good job of keeping it cool to your destination, even if you're traveling. So all around, I usually choose the styrofoam box for this trip. We're traveling 3 hours to the airport. Usually the airlines, if you tell them it's frozen, they will keep it in a freezer to get on the plane. And then when we get off the plane, we're driving another 3 hours, and we'll see if it's still frozen or not. I've done it before multiple times, and usually it stays frozen. So these are the 3 different styles. You just got to pick what your logistics, what works best for you. Okay, so I use the bucket here I'm gonna put my bucket on there. Comes out to one other tip that you can use to help keep your, especially if you're traveling long distances and you want to keep your fish frozen, is you can use gel packs or some sort of frozen packs. But always check with your airline what's allowed. And one other thing, it can be kind of difficult depending on where you're at, is dry ice. You can use dry ice up to 5.5 pounds. The airlines allow it. The problem with dry ice is it's hard to find some places. I know up here in Alaska, it's hard to find. So you can also pack these in and around your fish. The one thing you can't use is regular ice. You cannot use regular ice. You cannot use liquids of any kind in there. These are just a couple different things to help you get your fish home, frozen, in the freezer, ready to eat this winter. Right on, 49 pounds.